yo, what's going on? Are you in your 20s? Do you feel like you're lost? Do you feel like maybe everyone's ahead of you and you just don't know what you want to do? Or do you feel down? Do you feel depressed? Do you think things can't get better? Well, you need to listen to me because I have been there. When I was 22, I was super depressed. I was commuting to a local college, living at my mom's house. All my friends were away having the time of their lives. I was drinking and partying in my hometown way more than I should have been. It was stupid. And I was digging graves for $10 an hour at a local graveyard. I don't know why, with a bunch of old crazy people. And I was painfully single. And I had no prospects of things getting better in mind. And now, at the age of 34, I've managed to stack a bunch of money in investments in a career where I'm making decent money. My wife's making decent money as well. We got a kid that we're super happy with. And I've got a ton of interest and a good social network. And honestly, I wake up every day way more excited now for life than I did back then. And when I was 22, I thought when I was 34 my life would be over. So I'm just here to help you paint a roadmap to how to get there, because that didn't just happen. There was a bunch of changes I had to make in my life to kind of turn it around. And I'm so glad I did, and I'm so glad people gave me the information when I was young, because I don't know, I could still be doing that same thing today at 34, and it looks a lot uglier if you keep running that same play as life goes on. So I'm going to give you 5 ways that if you're lost in your 20s, you can kind of jumpstart things and turn them around and put yourself on a path you want. And number 1, I put this up front because it's actually the most important, I think, and that is self-actualizing. And that's when people say they go find yourself or some shit like that. That's what they're talking about. But I think a lot of people who say that don't even know what that means. So for me, what that meant was consuming a ton of information, different information. I would read books, a ton of self-help, but also fiction. I would listen to podcasts all day, and not just Joe Rogan. I would listen to every single podcast. If you're listening to left media, go listen to right media. If you're listening to right media, go listen to left. If you're a jock, go watch some music stuff. If you're into music, go watch some sports. And don't watch it to just make fun of or be angry at the thing. Watch it to be there for the experience and understand what they're saying. Even if you don't agree with it, or if it's not something that you like to do or spend your time with it, just go and try to have different experiences. That's a very important thing. It'll make you a better person. It involved trying a bunch of different interests and hobbies. So I got into guitar super big. I got into piano super big. I was shooting bows and arrows for a while. I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I was fishing, and anything and everything. I was just I was making candles for a minute, a broad range of stuff. And a lot of the stuff was just phases. And some of the stuff the jiu-jitsu and the guitar and stuff still stick around. But what that offers you is just expanding your world. A lot of times certain things I would do, cooking. I got real into cooking. I didn't even know I liked it. And I could have just never gotten into cooking. I never would have knew I liked it. So I think the people who don't if you don't try a bunch of stuff, especially when you're in your 20s, that's the time to do that. Then you kind of just get stuck who you are, and a lot of people have this very small view of what the world can be. And that just comes from not being open to new experiences enough. So another way you can kind of self-actualize and have new experiences is through travel. That's super huge too. And I don't mean you need to take $1 zillion vacation somewhere. A lot of people really underestimate what they can do in one day with just getting in a car. If you got a couple friends, you can all pitch in $30 for a hotel room, and you can get in the car. You can wake up in one place, and then if you're in America at least, you can drive 10 hours and be somewhere it's nowhere where you're from potentially. So it's a really cool thing. So they don't got to be crazy extravagant trips. Just get in the car and drive, man. Get on a plane and go see something. If you like hiking, go fly somewhere and hike. But go out and have new experiences, kind of just for the sake of it. You don't gotta wait till your parents tell you. You don't gotta wait till somebody tells you there's a vacation. You want to go try something, just do it. It'll make you a better person in the long run. And your 20s is the time to do it. Number 2, you need to get your money right. This is the time to do that. And it's a pretty broad statement, so I'm going to break it down piece by piece what that means. Because I wish somebody would have told me when I was 22. And they probably did, and I probably didn't listen. But you should listen, because I could be way richer right now if I just would have listened. So first, I would figure out what investing is. I would physically go and do it. I would do it with small amounts of money. I wouldn't be scared to take some small losses in the beginning, never more than I can, afford. But I'd be learning what works, what doesn't work, and I'd be trying to get real smart with my money and make it so I'm not taking losses and start stacking it quick. Because the earlier you can start to have successful investments, and it doesn't have to be real complicated, the easier it's going to be. If you start when you're 20, you are at so much of an advantage. I can't even explain it. I have a whole other video about it if you want to go back and check on my page. But you will have to save hundreds of thousands of dollars less over the course of your life if you just start saving younger. Compound interest, time is a third component that a lot of people don't realize, and they don't start getting the returns and putting the money until they get older. And time is the third part of that equation. And the more of that you can get, it's like steroids for your pockets. So figure out investing. But also avoid debt. If you have debt, pay it off. Develop a philosophy with money. So like you never take on debt to buy, basically never take on debt to consume is what I would have told my younger self. And I did that before, and I ended up having credit card debt for like 7 months one time, and it was a nightmare. I would never do it again. Never go into credit card debt for consumption. That is really only there to like run charges with and pay off the full balance every month. So whatever that is, learn how to manage your expenses so that you can pay your bills without a credit card. That is a huge step, and if you learn it when you're 20, you're going to be so much richer than other people, because a lot of people just do it their whole life and they don't realize how much that interest will eat into their fortune over time. So invest, develop a financial philosophy, avoid debt, and just start with that and just start exploring money, see how people have made money, and figure out what you want your relationship to money to be. For me, my relationship to money is freedom. So it's not like I don't want to have a ton of money to buy a ton of stuff. I like to have some nice stuff, but generally speaking, I want a pretty modest life. And what I want to have to do is not be forced to work any longer than I'm forced to have to work. So it's like, let me just get to a point where I can kind of have this modest life. But some people, you might want to have a ton of shiny stuff, or some people you might want to live like super, super modest. So that's where like it's not a one size fits all getting your money right. So that's where you kind of got to figure out what your relationship to money is and how you want money to be and what you want that to be in your life. Because a lot of people, dude, I realize like as I've gotten older, there are no adults. And I see like 65-year-old people who have no idea about anything with money, and they've got no savings, and they've got to work forever, and they're just confused, and they're in debt. And you're like, how did this happen? And it's like they didn't get their money right, and then life happened. You get in your 30s, and you have kids, and you got obligations, and you don't have all this time on your hands. So it's like they never figured out how to get their money right, and they just built bad habits, and they ran the same play for like 65 years. And it's unfortunate, but it doesn't have to happen to you. Get your money right. Number 3, and I did this, and I've maintained this. Get off of social media. And you don't have to quit altogether. I had to, because that's the kind of person I am. But if you can limit it to 15, 30 minutes a day, probably no more than that, man, and you actually stick to those numbers, then maybe it can work. But a lot of people say get off social media, and they can't. Like, they go, oh, I know, it's bad for your mental health. I've thought about my own, like, after getting off of social media, I kind of realized how it actually was bad for my mental health. And for me, I would find myself in real life. I was on Facebook. This is back in the day. It's like a bunch of years ago. And I would find like people invite me to stuff, and I'd be like, oh, I'll go to that. Yeah. So I can get a picture, so I can post it with some words on the internet. That way people feel this way about me. And like I saw myself doing that, and I was like, oh my God, it's like the social media has infected like my brain. I'm not like, it's not just me on this phone scrolling anymore. It's actually affecting the way that I go out and live my life. And it was gross. And I was getting like blindly led around so that people would click a thing so that they like me behind a keyboard. And it's like, dude, think about what you're actually doing. If you were something that didn't understand your species just watching you, you'd be like, that is the most insane behavior. So like I just had to break away from it. And what I found is like I had so much more freedom. And it was hard at first. Like you got to delete the apps from your phone and everything. So it was hard at first, but now I've been off it for like 12 years. And when I say I've been off it, I've maybe logged into my Facebook like 11 times. If someone says they send me a message or something, like it'll be years in between. I don't have it on my phone, and like I've never scrolled. I don't even know what it looks like anymore. What I found, it's like it's like the same feeling as when I cut cable, where I'm just like, oh, I just don't have that media anymore. And people are like, oh, I saw this, that, and the other, and yeah, they think they need it, but when you don't have it, you realize you don't need it. I don't know. That's all I'll say about it. Get off the social media, or severely limit it, and just watch your life change. If you don't believe me, just do it for like 30 days, and then tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead, let me know in the comments. Number 4, you got to exercise. You got to move your body, and it's not a one-size-fits-all thing either. You can lift weights. I got super into lifting weights in my 20s, and like I would get like pretty down, and that was one thing I noticed is like an immediate mood elevator. So I started doing it every day like that, and then all of a sudden you realize like before you lift regularly, you don't realize how good you can feel. But then once you quit lifting or you take time off lifting, you like go back to it and you think that's normal feeling. But it can be better. But it doesn't have to be lifting. Yoga is another one I've done. It's like great for my body. I know I already mentioned it in more of a mindfulness context. But there absolutely is like an exercise, benefit to it too. People do HIIT classes, they run jiu-jitsu, intramural sports. Figure out what works for you. But there's a huge difference. If you ever felt it, like we've been sick, and you feel bad because you're sick anyway, but like if you're sick or you're inside for like multiple days in a row, you start to feel lethargic, you feel like achy, it's weird. It's like you feel like you did something because your body's in pain, but it's actually in pain from not doing anything. And like that actually gets cured, I feel like, from working out. So like if you're not doing that, you're constantly feeling worse every day. And I just feel like you bring that into a lot of what you do. You know, you walk into work and you're feeling bad, and you got to do this and you're feeling bad. So just like build a habit of getting some movement. It's good for your body. It's good for your longevity, and just do it every day. And it's going to give you more energy. It's going to give you more mental clarity, and it's just going to improve every single aspect of life. It's like a 1 + 1 = 3 type of a situation. Number 5 is I would start to look into a little bit just mindfulness and psychology. Kind of start to get an understanding of not only like why you or like what you want, but why you are the reason that you are. And there's a ton that goes into that. And that can even bleed into like get therapy for sure if you're someone who's having a problem they can't fix on their own. But if you're not a person who wants some therapy, or you don't think you're able to fix this particular problem on your own, or you think you can fix this particular problem on your own, get a self-help book that you think might be able to help you with whatever situation it is, or, you know, find a way to deal with it. And meditation has been like absolutely huge for me. I started meditating right around this time when I was like 22 and I was having all this hard time. I think I started meditating like by necessity. And it's carried into now at the age of 34. It's still something I do multiple times a week. And I'm not anything crazy. I'll sit down for 10 minutes today, do like a headspace meditation, or I'll just do it like with nothing. I know how to do it. But like people think they need to do all these crazy things when they meditate. Like, dude, no, it's just like, you know, there's one right way to do it. You don't got to reinvent the wheel. You sit there, you do your 10-minute thing, you have your process. But like in the beginning, if you haven't meditated, like try a few different apps. You could do like Headspace. You could do, I forget, Waking Up was another one. There's a whole bunch of them. But they have free trials. And they all kind of say things about mindfulness in a different way. And then when you're actually doing it, like sometimes you're like, you know, focus just on your breathing and try to clear your thoughts. Sometimes it's like, focus on the feeling in your legs. Sometimes it's like focus on the feeling of consciousness. And these all are like little tips that come from different narrations of meditations. So I think in the beginning, explore it a little bit. And same thing as like going to the gym or something. You like fully work out like that muscle. You'll start to recognize patterns in the way you think a lot differently. You'll start to be more calm in situations. You'll just start to develop more autonomy over yourself. And this couples like looking into psychology. Like I said, when I was younger, I liked the Stoics. It's like a super popular one, the mainstream. I like Carl Jung. He's a pretty mainstream guy. Arthur Schopenhauer. But my philosophists don't have to be your philosophers. Don't have to be your philosophers. Like, just go on like some YouTube or something and start watching it, and they'll direct you in like ways of a bunch of different people with a bunch of different lines of thinking. You'll find your own things. Or go to a library and look it up. It doesn't matter how you get it. But just explore different ways of thinking, couple it with like different kinds of meditation, and yeah, that'll just go a long way in terms of you understanding how to navigate your way in situations and figure out why you act the way you act and help like negate it. And it just, you know, like I said, it gives you more autonomy. So those 5 things I would say over the last like 12 years, I've really developed. And if I could go back like to 22-year-old Josh, and I could be like, dude, let me just download my brain into your brain, dude, I would be like running the world right now. So, you know, clean up your act. I hope you guys got something out of this and you can implement it. And good luck on your journey and find some ways. But if you're going through a hard time right now, man, I'm telling you, it can get better. And it got a lot better for me. And I feel very fortunate because I remember thinking it never would. But, you know, just got to keep moving on. If you're having a really hard time, there's no shame in talking to someone or getting like the help of a professional too. So hope this helped you out if you're going through a hard time, or just if you're looking for a way to be better. Peace.